Welcome to Saulcast. Today we are talking about Season 6, Episodes 1 and 2 of Better Call Saul. This is our instant take, so we just watched the episode, and these are our raw, immediate reactions. I'm Gil. I'm here with my brother Adam.
Yo.
And a couple other guys that are here for some reason.
Hi.
Alon. And,
Hey.
Thank you. That was really nice.
You see that? We had a nice flow when it was just me and Adam.
Right? They wouldn't even let us on camera.
So in case you're new to Saulcast, this started as an audio-only show.
That's right. And now we've graduated to posting it to One Take, our YouTube channel. So if you're listening to this and you want to see us, go to the One Take YouTube channel, link in the description. But let's not waste any more time. Let's get into the episode. And I think the thing we should start with is what surprised me most about this episode: no Gene.
Yes. We're so used to the seasons being bookended with Gene content. And it all started looking like black and white, so you think this is a Gene scene. Then as you start to see all these ties getting tossed in the box and they start to turn more colorful, really quickly you're like, no, these are like people going through, like gathering evidence or just like clearing out his home. This has got to be from the Breaking Bad timeline.
Right, and the Gene storyline is such a slow drip, and they show so much restraint, giving us just little tiny bits of storyline every season, and then to not have it, that's a really slow drip.
Yeah.
What did you guys think of this opening?
I liked it because it gives me a different feeling. It gives me a feeling like we're approaching the conclusion. It's different, and obviously it's taking place during a timeline where to me it's more of a mystery what happens then than what happens during the past, the prequel era.
Right, when we're not leading up to what we already know happened in Breaking Bad. Yeah. And it goes really nicely with the title, the Wine and Roses, because the days of wine and roses are over. And it's also, it gives us our first glimpse into Saul Goodman's personal life.
Yes.
We see his house. Golden toilet.
I was really... So that was one of the few things there that actually made sense. There was a lot of things there aesthetically that I didn't understand. Like, I didn't associate with his character. I never got the sense that his perception of the good life or wealth involved a lot of, like, fine marble sculptures and art. He had a lot of, like, classical influences there.
I have a theory.
Yeah.
I think that there were hints as to the whereabouts of a certain character,
And maybe he wasn't living alone.
Exactly.
Yes.
I think there were some hints as to that.
Yeah.
Some hints such as the thong hanging from the bathtub faucet and the Zafiro Añejo stopper.
Although I
Falling
don't
out
know
onto
if
the
the thong is her style. I don't know.
Well,
I mean, we'll leave that to the imagination.
Wait, and what was the significance? The golden toilet, I felt like was a thing I was supposed to like get a reference to, but I don't think I got.
No, I
it.
just
Or-
think
or
it's
you-
like it's the kind of thing that he.
it's
First-
exorbitant wealth.
It's exorbitant wealth. It's also he literally has kind of a potty sense of humor.
yeah.
I think it's just him enjoying his riches.
We stayed at an Airbnb with a golden toilet,
That's right, yeah.
It wasn't as nice.
Yeah,
and it wasn't real gold.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I tried biting it and it didn't leave any teeth marks.
There's a certain, I feel like you want your toilet a certain color unless it's actually gold. Anything in between,
Just seems dirty.
it's just gross. But the first time I watched this, and I did get to see these episodes twice. The first time I watched
He's so proud. He's so proud that he got the AMC. That when we started this, we were just a humble podcast with humble origins. We
Right.
had we would get a few views and be really excited about it and be like, you know what, those are probably bots just like from random websites categorizing the podcast. And now we know for a fact that some people watch.
Yeah, now
exactly.
you're.
And
what's the
enough
opposite
people
of
watch
humble?
that you get the episodes in advance.
Anyway, after this, I got to go use my golden toilet.
Yeah.
So the first time I saw this, my impression was there's no way Kim's there because I don't think she would go for all this exorbitant stuff. But then rewatching it, I picked up on a few things where what if Kim is sort of a puppet master behind Saul Goodman? She's the one who questions what kind of car Saul Goodman would drive. She's the one who says it's time to start looking for the type of office Saul Goodman would have. We see her help him plan out the commercial. Now, it wasn't a commercial for Saul Goodman. It was part of their Howard scheme. But it got me thinking, what if she's helping him make the best possible Saul Goodman commercials he can make. And then when they're with the Kettlemans in episode 2, she's the one who knows when to pull out the stick. And I could see her being involved in the strategy behind Saul Goodman.
Did we ever really see that type of behavior from her in previous seasons? Like, I never saw her pulling strings like that on Saul, like egging him along sometimes, but it was never as direct.
When it comes to their hijinks and scheming, sometimes she was the one who was trying to kind of tempt him and come up with ideas and be like the devil on his shoulder.
And she came up with the entire Huel plot that got him freed with the letter writing campaign. But definitely, this is the most we've seen Saul or Jimmy being a sort of passenger.
Yeah, and it was, I didn't expect so like the last season ended on a pretty good high note for Kim and Saul. Mm-hmm. And I didn't really expect to feel uncomfortable with their chemistry. But there were a few scenes in this where I actually felt like Saul was mortified by the experience he had gone through. He was still traumatized and was like pretty hesitant about really continuing with this stuff.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, there was the moment in the restaurant where he's like, oh, so we're going through with this. And she's like, you don't think we should? And he's like, I didn't say that. Yeah. And then, of course, the end of episode 2, when he looks super uncomfortable and feels bad for the Kettlemans and gives them the cash. We don't see that happen, but Kim surmises that it probably did. And yeah, he was kind of horrified by her behavior. And I thought there was kind of a hint at this pretty early on in episode 1 when she throws out the second best lawyer mug.
Yeah.
And that was fresh on my mind because the whole Importance of Objects video, I was tracking that mug from season 2. And in season 5, when Jimmy and Mike are going to push his car off that cliff to basically get rid of the evidence, Jimmy runs back and grabs that mug. Mm-hmm. So to me, that mug holds sentimental value to him. He thinks of that as something Kim gave him. And here she just, it's broken. She tosses it out. So that was kind of the first moment in these 2 episodes where I felt some of that friction you mentioned. And then, of course, like we talked about, he's kind of a passenger in this whole, she's definitely pushing him along in this whole Howard scheme. How about, let's talk about Nacho for a little bit.
Yeah.
So what was going on there, Adam, with the whole vault, or what do you call that? The
safe?
The safe. The bank vault in Nacho's.
So it was a very clever scheme. So they basically they wanted or at least Gus wanted the Salamancas to kill Nacho, which would be great because it would cover up the trail connecting him to Gus and all that. And it's just, you got to, tie up the loose end.
Nip it in the bud.
Precisely. Literally, whatever that means. So then break open the safe, put a slip in there that makes it look like Nacho's making all these deposits into some...
Well, break open the safe, move all of its contents...
into an identical safe that doesn't look like it was broken into.
Right.
Put a letter in there that makes it look like Nacho's been making a bunch of deposits into the Cayman Islands, some secret account, with some information written there, phone number. Slip it in there, close the safe, let the Salamancas crew find it and think that they are organically discovering where Nacho is hiding.
They think they found his escape plan.
Yeah.
So they call that number, they find the hotel or the motel where he's holding up. So yeah, it seems like Gus basically gave up his location to just cleanly get him killed. Daniel, I see a look on your face.
Yeah, why would Gus want Nacho to be found? Because doesn't he know they would take him alive and question him?
Adam?
I don't know. Maybe he's... Gus seems like he's not as smart as he is in Breaking Bad. Like, there have been a couple of miscalculations. For example, when they got Lalo arrested, that backfired on them.
Yeah, they were like, wait, Lalo still has power in prison, and we can't move on him because we need to send... Because they'll know it was us, so actually we need to get him out of prison.
So it could be he underestimated... There's either we're misinterpreting things, which is
and
possible.
This is the instant take.
Yeah. Give us a break. Tell us in the comments,
I thought you said Gil saw it twice.
Yeah.
But that's a pretty gross miscalculation. Like, they specifically talk about the fact that Nacho knows the truth, right? And they can't let anyone talk to him.
Well, I think it's pretty intentional that, it's clear that Gus is off his game, and even Gus himself realizes
he knocked the glass off
exactly.
the table.
And I think that is the perfect metaphor for exactly. He probably realizes that. I think something's going to trigger in him where he's like, I need to button everything up and become the Breaking Bad version of me.
Yeah.
Right. And there's been a few moments in this series where you see a few cracks in the Gus is perfect facade, like when he makes his fry cook clean the fryer over
Because
and
he's
over
so
again.
right. Gus gets nervous.
Right.
He can get nervous. It just comes out in weird ways. So, like he's got that obsessive need to make sure the restaurant is perfectly spotless and clean. And it would be one thing. It's already a little bit, crazy for just him to do it himself. But not only that, but he let his workers stay there all night, for no reason.
Yeah, just because he was nervous.
Yeah.
And now I think we see him more nervous than ever, where he breaks the glass, and he's not usually one to take a lot of advice, but he has that quiet moment where there's the awkward silence after he breaks the glass, and then he tells Mike, continue. Yeah. Going back to Kim and, actually, one more thing on that. So I think we do need to rewatch it. Second time for you, third time for me.
Yeah.
Try to process exactly what's happening with Mike putting that phone number into the safe, because that would essentially be Mike accepting, you know what? Gus is killing Nacho, and I can't stop it. Now, he does draw the line, though, at Nacho's father.
Yes.
And I kind of love that moment, seeing Mike stand up to Gus, and then Tyrus holds the gun right in his face, and he has the Luke Skywalker moment. You know what I'm talking about, Alon? This isn't going to go down the way you think. Luke Skywalker had that exact same line, pretty much. But I liked it a lot more here.
Yeah.
I mean, the way I look at the Mike with Nacho right now is, and when they broke into the safe, you saw he took his father's fake ID.
Right.
So clearly, it seems like he's like, his father has nothing to do with this. Nacho's in the game. Mm-hmm.
Did he hold on to it or did he put it back?
I
don't think we saw him put it back.
It seemed to me like he took his dad's and put Nacho's back in.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah, it does seem like Mike has given up on Nacho. Now, at the end, of course, now he's thinking, okay, I've got a chance possibly to save him. It'll be interesting to see where that goes. Okay, the Kim, Jimmy, and Lalo storylines seem like they're about to collide. So at the end of the episode, Jimmy and Kim drive off. A car follows them.
Yeah.
I believe that was Lalo, right?
That was my feeling.
And
I think it was Guzman.
De Guzman.
Guzman.
Wait, what would Lalo want with Saul now?
All right. What did we see from Lalo right before that? You have to think back to the first episode. But he was talking to Hector Salamanca, and Hector told him, we need proof.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden,
Prueba.
Lalo remembers where he can get proof. And Saul, so last season, you remember when Lalo went to Jimmy and Kim's home, interrogated them, and then Kim stood up
Kept
for
tapping
Jimmy.
on the glass of the fish.
Exactly. And then Kim stood up to him and he left. Yeah. Now, I was not necessarily, thinking back on it, I don't necessarily think he bought Kim's story. He still thinks something happened in the desert with Jimmy. So maybe he was attacked and somebody saved him, but he kind of realized Kim's logic made sense. Like, why are you going after Jimmy? He brought you the money. Saul brought you the money. So something might have happened out there, but just move on. Forget about it. So I think now he realizes if I get to them, they have the proof I'm looking for. Jimmy was protected by Gus, and there's something there, I think. But I don't necessarily think it's going to be entirely antagonistic. Maybe he will try to work with them, reason with them, because he's got leverage now.
Dude, Lalo
right?
loves Saul. He's not going to do anything bad. Come on.
Right. What do you call
He's
him?
like La Cucaracha.
Yeah, exactly.
Always gets away or something like that.
It is funny how Lalo is so charming.
Yeah.
Even our dad, we were watching with him, he's like, I like this guy.
Yeah.
He might be my favorite character.
He's the best. He is an awesome character, but he does horrible things. I remember you and I had a moment where we were like, yeah, there you go. I was like, there's a reason I like him.
Yeah.
We were like, is Lalo that bad? And then you have to remember the story of how he got that bell.
Oh, right. They like burned the guy's hotel down with him inside of it, and they
Some like professor disrespected
Yeah.
Hector or Lalo, so they burned it down with his wife in it.
Plus, he killed that poor innocent kid at the.
Fred Whalen. Of
Fred,
course.
yeah.
Travel agency. What was
That was why he had to go out on bail anyway.
Yeah, Fred Whalen.
The travel agent, the money wiring.
That was
place.
so cool the way he like went into the
He like jumped up into the
Yeah.
ceiling and
He's
just crawled over.
superhuman.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do need another feat of strength from Lalo.
Yeah.
We had that, then we had him jumping onto the car last season, waiting for something this season.
I liked his ZZ Top joke.
Yeah.
The guy's like, what?
I just
did
love
he-
the random
he did-
parkour in this show.
Yeah.
Did he
yeah.
kill that couple?
Absolutely.
Presumably.
Yeah.
He had to.
I mean, they showed him eyeing the
They're
scissor.
not the ones that drove him to the. That was somebody else, right?
I assume
I
so.
thought it was like the clean-shaven guy who drove him, but that was probably
No, he
wrong.
can't let anybody know he's alive.
Yeah.
Right now,
Yeah.
it works pretty well for him. Everyone thinks he's dead. Now, he did seem like he wanted the guy to shave his beard, but not the mustache and soul patch. So he kind of looks like
Yeah.
Lalo. Could that have been so he could leave a dead body somewhere that people think is
That was
his?
my impression.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
That's insane.
I mean, I think definitely. Why else would he have gone there at all?
But then you'd have
That's
to take
such
the
a
body.
subtle thing.
He'd have to bring the body back to the compound. Like I don't see how he could make that work. And it wouldn't. And at this point, Gus
Well,
knows he's alive.
I thought it
anyway.
was more. There's a chance that that's true, and we just didn't pick up on it. To me, it also just kind of fit his character of like he can so easily go from lighthearted, friendly conversation to 5 minutes later, like there's two dead bodies lying on the ground there.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, we have to talk about going back to Jimmy and Kim right after the Kettleman thing when they're driving away, and Jimmy says to himself, "Wolves and sheep."
Yeah,
Yeah.
Why did we immediately take out our phones and write that down in our notes?
because and I got all the notes right there. The wolves and sheep line is what the guy who was scamming his Saul's father when he and Chuck were kids, and he ran that convenience store. When young Jimmy sees this happen, the guy says to Jimmy, "There are wolves and sheep in this world.
Decide which one you're
Decide
going
which
to be."
one." Yeah,
And I think in this scene he sees, "Wow, I thought I was a wolf. Kim,
she's really a wolf.
that's a wolf."
Yeah.
All right. I mean, any other major things stand out to you in this episode?
I liked seeing the Kettlemans again. They're pretty funny.
The kettlebells?
Yeah. The scene. Okay, so there's a couple, like, we'll get more into them in the full take, but some of the funniest scenes in this show so far have been when Jimmy starts accusing the club of being anti-Semitic.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I could not stop laughing through
That
that.
was awesome.
And then also when, first of all, I just love watching Jimmy or really anyone get up to clever shenanigans. So
Right.
when Jimmy starts stripping naked and is just like rubbing himself with the towel in the locker room to avoid detection, so smart, so guaranteed to work, and yet also like classic. Just this show's sense of humor, especially when humor that has to do with Saul Goodman. It's like you see like his naked body from the side, and it's like, but it's so that he can avoid detection. Or you see them taking the cardboard cutout of him and putting it in the dumpster. You know,
Do you get the symbolism, by the way?
like that his career and his life went into the dumpster.
Yeah.
Oh.
Or remember there was the time when he was literally in the dumpster digging
Yep.
around looking for trash, and then someone dumped more trash on top of him. And there's all this toilet humor. I just like find that the writing can both be really smart and also really kind of crass at the same time in a way that appeals to my sense of humor.
I also loved the tension when the bag of cocaine falls out of Hamlin's
It's
locker.
so funny.
And
Yeah.
like it's so uncomfortable, and you can see the wheels turning in his head trying to figure out what he's gonna do.
Hamlin's like, perhaps this belongs to one of the workers.
Yeah, this is
I
my-
wonder where this came from.
So there were two big laughs for me in the episode. I said in my spoiler-free review how I laughed harder at a moment in these two episodes than I ever have at Better Call Saul. And that was the moment when they're trying to kick Jimmy out of the country club, and he's like, "I don't know, something happened." Goodman, it was when you heard my name. And as soon as I
Yeah.
saw the direction he was going
As
with
soon
it,
as I heard that,
could not stop laughing. And then there was a second laugh, exactly the moment you brought up, Daniel, because Howard's like, "Where did that come from?" And he's like, "Didn't it just fall out of your locker?" It's so funny.
we also found the origin of the Statue of Liberty inflatable thing.
That's right. A lot of Saul Goodman kind of things set up in these couple of episodes. The Statue of Liberty is probably the most like obvious one.
Right.
But then you see the car at the beginning, the Corvette, and then in the flash forward, and then back in the present or back in the past, however you want to look at it, Kim has that conversation with him. What kind of car would Saul Goodman drive? We got to find you a better office. So definitely a lot of Saul Goodman seeds planted.
What do you think happens to Nacho? He's like, we've seen him. He's really La Cucaracha. Like,
Yeah.
we've seen him in so many sticky, horrible situations, and somehow he continues to manage to get out of them. And the only reason he survived this one in this last episode is that the twins never run.
Yeah, I
They
know.
always walk.
That is, like, there was a certain point, I would say, in that scene, I was like, are they too cartoonish?
Well, here's the thing. So that's what my first thought was. But then you remember they needed to take him alive, and he's
Yeah.
in the car. So what are they going to do?
Okay, good point.
So
and
Fair
he's
point.
not
it's
gonna
kind of just a
survive.
standoff. All they can do is stand there.
And by standing there very calmly, they were able to aim right at the tires, and they hit one.
Yeah, so
That's
he's going to
true.
get stuck
So-
very soon. They're
so
just going
it-
to chase
it-
him down.
It did kind of look like a stereotype, and it was a little over the top. But then when I thought about it, I didn't see how running would have helped anyway. But it was kind of comical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that all makes sense. They were
The
trying,
one,
how do
the
we get him
one
alive?
thing. So back in Breaking Bad, this is the kind of the one thing that made me wonder if they're a little too over the top because it was so plot altering.
Mm-hmm.
But when they're about to kill Hank and he's lying there and he's about to die, and he's about to, one of the twins is about to shoot him in the head, and then he goes, "No, más fácil," like too easy.
Right.
He goes back to his car to grab this axe. Because he wants to just chop his head off, basically. And that's when Hank manages, to grab the bullet, put it in the gun, and shoot him,
Mm-hmm.
which was also one of the most heart-pounding scenes I've ever seen of anything, like any TV or movie in my entire life. But I still think about it, and I'm like, I don't know, like, if he was just focused on the job, it would have been done.
Yeah, I mean, these two guys, their whole game it's all psychological. Like, they're trying to just get in your head and make you make a mistake, I think. That's why they walk slow.
That's true. They
they're
know how
always
scary they
intimidating.
are.
Like, I bet just by acting like this, they make their enemies mess up. And
Right.
then they kill them.
Well, plus, they definitely think they look really cool.
Yeah,
You look
yeah.
at the way they dress.
They're walking
boots
around
on
in the
skulls.
suits.
Those
Yeah.
shoes with the curve at
with
the
the
top.
Those shoes
Boots
look
with the
very
skulls.
impractical.
Yeah.
What'd you say, Daniel?
The shoes look very impractical.
That's why they walk. You can't run in those.
No,
Right.
cowboy boots are actually known for being like comfortable once you break them
But with
in.
that weird curl at the end?
That's just an
It's not,
aesthetic.
in the
it's
way.
not like their toes
It's
are
not like a
Yeah.
court
They're not
gesture
walking
shoe or
like-
something.
Yeah.
That's like foot binding.
They're walking around like Sideshow Bob.
Actually, speaking of the twins, we saw Gus kind of break for a moment. We saw them break for a moment too when
Oh,
they see
yeah.
that woman's body burned.
Right,
and
well,
all
that's
the
their-
compound.
I think only one of
They
them
were
broke.
told from a young age, family is everything.
That's right.
And that's a member of their family, and they see their body burned, presumably burned alive. And she's a woman, which in their minds probably makes it even worse.
Yeah.
She's even further removed from the game.
Right. And Alon, you were
No,
saying.
I was just saying the one on the right. I don't think his facial expression changed at all. The one on the left was mouth open.
Yeah. He was
It's
like,
the
"What's
first time I've seen one of their mouths agape.
Yeah.
Out of emotion. And they put that Santa Muerte card on.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So I don't know. They have some kind of. They have emotion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you have it. Any other thoughts on these couple of episodes for the instant take? Anything that struck you?
I'm so excited that it's back.
Yeah.
It's
Me too.
like it's like such a good show.
I know.
There's a lot less elderly than there were in like the first couple seasons. I think there was only one elder.
Oh.
in this episode.
Actually, I wanted to bring that up.
Wait, what do you mean? Like, just you mean old people?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there was a time when Saul Goodman or Jimmy McGill was practiced elder law.
What's with all the old people in this show?
Hector.
It's just something I
mean,
noticed.
He's an old guy. Also, the acting for him has been great.
Yeah, that's true. You commented on that earlier.
Yeah.
You're like, he's a great actor.
He says
I mean,
a lot
he can
with his
do a
eyes.
lot. He can say a lot with his eyes and his lips.
Yeah.
And like just the facial expression he gave Gus when they shook hands said everything.
Right.
Which also I don't know why he played that hand and like because, well I guess one of the Salamancas, almost all of them, one of their great foibles is that they don't have subtlety.
Right.
Right. So Hector kind of rather than play the part of like the grieving old man would rather show Gus like I'm not as sad as you think, and I'm actually like my family's gonna destroy
he
you.
might as well have winked at Gus.
Yeah, I was gonna say
I
he
know
essentially,
Lalo's alive.
So,
he
like, he
essentially
played-
crosses his fingers, but in front of him, so you
so
can see.
he
Yeah.
kind of played his hand for the sake of sort of rubbing it in Gus's face that like, hey, the situation's not as good for you as you thought.
Right.
which feels good in the moment, but I don't think it helps him in the long run.
No,
So
definitely
he
not.
kind of lacks the same discretion and long-term thinking that Lalo might have.
Right.
His brain's not operating at full capacity, but it does kind of fit his personality.
But the elderly woman that you mentioned that we saw at the Kettleman's place.
Yeah.
So when Kim went really hard at the Kettleman's, before she walked into that place, she saw that older woman walk out of there. And it was a lingering shot on Kim. And I think that's part of what gave her so much fury.
Yeah.
Is that we know they're scamming people. And so she sees this older woman that they're scamming.
Right. She
And
gets that feeling that makes her want to play Robin Hood again.
Exactly. Yeah, so I think that's part of why she went so hard at them. But otherwise, yeah, I'm so happy this show is back. I'm sad it's coming to an end, but I'm also happy because now we got to see how it ends.
True, and I'm glad that they divided up the season. It's not going to be over 2 years, but there's going to be a few months of a break, right?
I think it's not even 2 months. It's a pretty short break.
Oh, never mind then. I was going to say I don't mind if they kind of prolong the gratification and just stretch this out because I'm going to be sad when it's over.
Yeah, exactly. Daniel, want to close this out? Any closing thoughts?
Yeah, I'm really glad it's back. I think those were an awesome 2 episodes.
All right. There you go.
There you go. You heard it from the man himself.
All right, so I think with that, we can wrap it up. So like I said at the beginning, make sure to check back later in the week
For a
with
full
recap.
and analysis.
I was going to say review. And then
We
I
usually say recap and analysis.
I think
He's
analysis
a little
is better.
rusty.
And
Yeah,
remember to
that's
hit the bell icon.
Well, so this is complicated because we're catering to 2 audiences
Yeah.
now. All right, so
Now we have to cut that out for the podcast.
no, this will
No,
work.
no, that's
If
fine.
you're listening to this on a podcast app, be aware that you can click the link in the description and see us on YouTube, and also leave a review in Apple Podcasts.
That's true.
Because we really appreciate that. If you're watching on YouTube and you don't like to see our faces, minimize the window.
Yeah.
Or just swipe it off your screen, and if you have YouTube Premium, you can listen in the background.
True.
But if you don't want to pay for YouTube Premium, then YouTube you should do that, if YouTube's listening.
Yeah.
But you can listen on a podcast app.
What should you do if you're listening through one of those paper cups with the string? All right.
All right, and with
cut
that,
that too.
yeah, I'm Gil,
I'm Adam.
I'm Alon.
I'm Daniel.
and this is Saulcast. Instant Take. Should I take out the part about Kim's thong?
No, I thought that was
Why?
funny.
Should I use
Wait,
that?
yeah, you should.